Kabam's new Ratingy tier system-y champion attribute system thing is live. We take a look into it. Coss goes Mr. Knight with this champ build. Players comment on Gamora Buff and Kabam respond. Battlegrounds is back, baby. Well, sort of. We find out more on that one, and a roundup of all the micro information you need in your life, like arena predictions and Cavalier Nodes for today. Yes, yo, and yo, it is update day. Well, new content day here on the channel. So we've got lots of videos that will be coming your way later on as well throughout the next few days. It's exciting times. Rifts are back. So for that lovely goodness in your life, make sure to hit the like button, subscribe with post notifications on, or keep up to date by being on Twitter. Follow on Twitter, follow on the Discord. I'll notify you when new vids are popped up on the channel, especially for new content dropping. And also a massive thank you to those that support the channel as a YouTube member and as a Patreon. You're on the screen right now. Also, those that support as a twitch.tv/RichTheMan live. Amazon Prime free Twitch sub. Make sure to do that. Also, those that give tiers 1 subs, bits and donations. Thank you so much. I'll see you later on for a live stream. Of course I will. But yo, we got to get right into the action. We got a stonking of a massive show for you today, especially with lots of information, lots of stuff to keep on your mind. So the first thing is an update. Now I'm going to cover this every news this week and next week until this is fixed. So far, the Kang Fight in 7.4.6 has not been fixed. It is still something that is raging on at the moment, and unfortunately it doesn't seem for this to be it's going to let up anytime soon, especially with the update being that the team's still looking into the issue, determining options for possible fix. Once we have more information to share, we're sure to update you. That was as of yesterday, so don't expect anything as of yet. As I said, Friday, when I do the next MCN, is probably when we'll find out whether or not this has been fixed, or how it's going to be scheduled to be fixed, because that's the next thing, because hot damn, it's a problem bug. The next micro news story is all about the Black ISO market. If you are buying it, it does still mean that the Scarlet Sigil champion will stay. So if you think it's going to go, it's not. It is, as Kabam says, no plans to remove the champion anytime soon. Also in micro news and the Cavalier buffs for today. So as a lot you know, the Cavalier buffs, Cavalier Nodes are fun enough, but Kabam like to kind of roll in some changes to them. I didn't do Cavalier difficulty for March, and I'm not going to do Cavalier difficulty for April. It's just nice to have like a couple months away. I will be doing a completion of it just for the purpose of making content on the channel, but I don't plan to 100% it. May is different. If I didn't have my kind of grind schedule of doing arena, which is to get 10,000 units by 2 weeks, I think I've got, which is going fine. It's going okay at the moment. But yeah, if you want the April nodes, then they're on screen right now. So the skill one is going to be paired with Defenders, Thunderbolts and Inhumans. Tech is paired with Avengers. And Mutant is Mercenary and Guardians of the Galaxy. I will be doing a Cavalier cheat sheet later on today, but for those interested in what the nodes are going to be, the buff says, they are on screen right now, and a link is in the description down below for them. And now we move on to Coss. So check out the link in the description. Coss has first of all, I must comment on this, first of all created a shocker. Right, he's done more work for champion creation than Kabam have done. That is surprising. Look at that. Look at that. First of all, the Mr. Knight is amazingly built. Shocker as well, amazingly built. And then there's more. There's a Captain America Hydra that's being created. Look, Captain America Hydra. Look at that. Look at that. It's incredible. And then there's this is the oh, it's not Anubis. It is Anubis. Wow. Okay, I'm not going to spoil any more of the video. Right, please go and check out Coss and support his channel. The link is in the description down below. But it's always amazing to see this. I love the Anubis build. It looks sick. It looks like something that should be some like Egyptology film. And then the Mr. Knight, again, just looks amazing. Okay, now we've gone on from the micro stories. Now we're going to be talking about some of the bigger stories that require a bit more kind of thought, opinions, and talking points. So the first thing is champion attributes. And champion attributes, or these kind of like official tier lists. I don't think it's really tier lists, but it's kind of like, I don't know, performance lists. Let's just put it like that way. and rating, champion rating in a nutshell. They're a bit iffy, they're a bit squiffy, and they're a bit dicey, and a lot of the time the opinions are not by players. It's not voted for by players. It takes into consideration, well, I don't know really, kind of like in some ways I assume this is taken down with data, with things like, is it relevant? Does it take into consideration other elements as well? Tough one. Okay, so I need to round out an opinion on this because look at this, right? So Black Widow Clairvoyant, and it says here, makes utility damage, survivability in her kit, and attributes wise, Black Widow Clairvoyant has some respectable damage and has it consistently in almost any situation. It's not the highest you're going to find in a battle realm, but it's often more than enough to get through the challenges that any foe or content throws her way. But a lot of the time, as you kind of like scroll down here and you've got stuff like survivability and best of use, it doesn't take into consideration, again, just like looking down again, it doesn't take into consideration other elements of masteries, and that's a problem, isn't it? Because we're kind of like are all these attribute things, all these kind of ratings taken into consideration a multiple of subjects, or is it very specific? And this is my big concern about the champion's rating system, is that it would be very specific to a narrative of like basic use, normal use, so no mastery enhancements, nothing when it comes to like, you know, specific modes. It's just a kind of like a bog standard generic assessment of a champion, which is kind of boring for the purpose of like players' usages. If we're talking about like new players, this is great. This is good for new players, right? But when it comes to like further expanding your knowledge in Marvel Contest and kind of going to different routes and areas, it's just very narrow-minded. Kind of is. Now there is a response to anything and everything. So first of all, we also want to take the opportunity to clear up misconceptions that have been floating around. These ratings are based on data collected from multiple sources in game. Your opinions may vary on individual champions, but we are going to portray these ratings in relation to some of the most competitive content in game, and won't be able to take individual or niche cases into account. Champion synergies are not counted in these ratings. While synergies can certainly make champions more powerful, we want these to represent the champion as is. The champion buffs are not going anywhere, but they may be less frequent. Blah 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 blah. You should expect more buffs than nerfs. We applied the program historically to the last year, and you would have seen a lot more buffs underperforming more buffs to underperforming new champions. What? That's a weird kind of like omission right there. You would have seen a lot more buffs to underperforming new champions. So when you spend your money on new champions last year, the 2021 champions, Kabam are saying that they put them out underperforming. What? Anyway, we historically, I mean, that's a really weird thing to kind of like put down. In any case, anyway, down overly potent champions in the past, and rarely have those ever been seen as a major nerf. Our goal here is to show you right off the bat what champions should be capable of. Yeah, masteries. Like, masteries are a key element to the champion kind of usage. You don't use champions without masteries. You use champions with masteries. So if you use champions with masteries, then the masteries sets would need to be considered, or kind of like amplification of things. I just don't think they've been considered to cover all variables and aspects within this game. And that's the biggest thing with Marvel Contest. It's so expansive with champion interaction. Yes, Kabam aren't considering specific quests and synergies, but there's so many different things like that goes into an alliance quest, alliance wars, mastery setups to increase potency of champions. It's, in my opinion, it's just not a good rating system, and this is something that needs to be looked into again. Okay, now let's move on to talk about the Gamora buff. Now, Gamora, has been buffed several times, and there's been a big debate about the extent of like buff performances, especially, and shout out to Imagine Jim for this little infographic right here. I'll put a link to this in the description if you want to check this out. Very interesting. This is the point of when new buffs came in. If you remember, September 2020 was kind of the point where Kabam were delivering certain champions, and it's been a very much like hit and miss type buff scheduling. I mean, look, you know, we had some great times with the Magnetos. Punisher 2099 is okay. The Gambit one's good. The Falcon one's amazing. I think the Daredevil Hell's Kitchen one has been kind of like, you know, mixed. And then we had the month of February 2021, which saw Kingpin, Mole Man, and I think it was Terex buffed then. For some reason in my mind, I'm like, I thought the Terex had been buffed again, but, you know, in any case, whatever. Gamora has been buffed several times, as we know. A little bit of kind of like performance improvements here or there. But hey, like, you know, the point to get to is Gamora, you know, and buffs in general. There's been a lot of hit and misses, and I definitely think that from the end point of 2021, kind of September time, it has been more misses than hits, with a few ones that have been kind of like good enough, some kind of specific ones that have been good for the player base. So Kabam Mika says, hey all, keep in mind that not every update is going to make every champion appeal to everybody. The point of buffs has never been to make every champ a new top champ, but we do hope that these champions can fill in an answer where someone might have had a better champ before. Gamora is one of the first champs a new player will get, as far more likely to use than established players. She's available at 1, 2, and 3 star, and early progression levels have daily crystals that are limited, yeah, so they get it for that. And Kabam Mike's address ends with this: recent buffs are not the result of changes in how we're approaching buffs and balance changes in the future. That kind of answers like a point I had a minute ago. But look, the whole scheme of this, and the issue is, if you get like a high rarity champion of this, and you're like, or any kind of champion, and you're looking for value, the same way if somebody picks up the first ever 6 stars being superior Iron Man, they want to find something that they can use that champion for. And it feels like the scheme of kind of buffing champions, rebalancing is kind of a slower process. I'm still disappointed to hear about that previous like coverage that we did, that new champions have not been at the forefront of what they could do power wise when people have spent money on these new champions added into the game. That's going to really kind of bug me, and thank God I stopped spending as of kind of like the end of December. Look, here's the thing with it. A lot of players want different things from these new buffs, and I just think that those need to be considered and put in further, and Kabam need to, you know, work as best they can to kind of like improve these champions, because they're playable aspects. You wouldn't buy something or kind of go for something or rank up something if it wasn't going to be effective in improving your roster, and also where you take it in different places. And our penultimate story is that Battlegrounds is returning. Yes, it is coming back for the 18th to the 25th of April this month. What is changing about this? Well, first of all, that everyone's reset to 1,500, of course. Adjusted champion charges from 99 to 3. Previously, there was an issue with champion charges in regards to the rate in which they refreshed. Thus, we made the decision to increase the cap substantially for the duration of the initial March beta. There's also bi-daily objectives, added 2,000 claws for alarm crystal shards across the 5 milestones, which is that. Reduced the required number of matches to 2 per milestone for a total of 10. You can complete this objective 4 times over the course of the week. And weekly added 5,000 6-star shard crystals to the final objective milestone. Profile pick is still included for those who have not yet obtained it. So there's something to kind of like, if you're playing, I don't know if it says if that's win or lose though. I don't think it really kind of says, but it definitely gives interest for players to go and check it out. But also, what else? Remove masochism, added safeguard. Safeguard prevents defenders from losing more than 1% of their HP from a single damage source. Now, I don't know, I think I'm more interested in that than I am with masochism, just because I think it makes the fights a little bit longer. But the same problem does come with, does this sort out? It kind of like takes on things like Suicide Masteries a little bit more, because of like, it's not going to be like, oh, huge damage dealing, and you know, people are able to win fights more quicker and stuff like that. Also, it helps out to deal with people that are, you know, cheaters in some ways that people mod in, because then it depends if the mod can go over the safeguard, but we'll have to see how that kind of like breaks down. Either way, it's going to be interesting to see it back. I know that there are going to be people unhappy about certain elements of that, but as I said, if dealing a little bit with cheaters and huge damage dealers and suicide masteries, then this may be more enjoyable, but the debuff damage dealers might have to be the way to go, or other routes to gain your damage or do your damage. And we end the show as we normally do, arena predictions. They're on screen right now. 76 mil I'm going with for Psycho Man and Gamora, 6-star, the selected is 5-star versions of both of them, 30 mil, which I said selector, I think it is. 6-star anti-venom, I'm going with 78 mil. 5-star anti-venom, 21 mil. All this information is based off of some previous arena results, and especially with the basic Nimrod, which was kind of like going at 80 mil for the 83 mil in some places for the basic side of things in comparison. And I've compared the Psycho Man and Gamora one to a recent Elsa Bloodstone and Storm arena that came out. So yeah, that's been the arena predictions. And thank you very much for watching the show. Check out the information and like loads of stuff dropping today, side event information we're doing. Also, the ISO Fields new quest has not dropped in game at the point of getting this video out, so yeah, don't know what's going on there. Kabam, sort out your stuff, you silly sausages, you.